Okay. My name is Erica Cornwall. I'm from Los Angeles, and I decided to come to the retreat because, well, a lot of things. I think, for one, I felt like I had, even though everything was really great in my life, and I'm really blessed to have a wonderful family and friends, and my career is great, I just felt like no matter what, I was always sort of sad or missing something, or just something didn't seem right. And I had done a lot of things, like therapy or like Tony Robbins or Landmark or books, and they were all really great, but they were kind of short-lived. And so I just started researching, and I read about ayahuasca, and I actually met a woman in Los Angeles, and her daughter was a Shipibo trained shaman, and I went to her and I did 2 ceremonies, which were amazing and terrifying. And it was funny because I kind of felt the same. Like a little bit later I felt great, and then it was sort of like the other things that seemed like that like magical thing wore off. And she said, I think that you need to go to where the medicine's really from, and do like a proper, not that what she offers isn't great, but it's just not as deep. And I was completely terrified, but I ultimately came because I felt like there had to be a reason that it was being presented. And then of course when I went to book, every excuse that I could come up with was like met with a solution, like from, flights, or from room availability, or from dates, or from thinking I need a room alone, or whatever it was. It was like everything just opened, and yeah, so I came. I think a really big one for me was in my family with my mom, and we've always been told she was bipolar, and that's like incurable, and that that she was, kind of always going to be this way, and that was always the reason behind anything she would do that was maybe wrong or didn't feel good. And so I grew up in a very loving but also tumultuous environment, because one minute she was really happy and loving and excited, and the next minute she was really volatile and angry and just scary. So I kind of grew up in this like need to control everything environment, and I think that, and then she lied about who my dad was, and there was a lot of deceit, and there was a lot of drinking and partying and philandering and affairs, and I think I grew up really judging her and being angry with her, for obvious reasons. And in doing this work, I realized that, I just have nothing but love for her, and I see her struggle, and and I just have this really profound belief that I chose her, and that all the good things that I am are because of her. And in the ceremonies, different ones, I saw that she was really a product of her own family, her mom, and then her mom's mom, and it felt like it went maybe like 7 or 8 generations back. And I just saw how strong and beautiful and powerful these women all were, but they were also just in pain and suffering. And I think I received a lot of that, both in the womb and growing up, and it really feels like that's all kind of cleared. Like the story is still the same, but it just doesn't really matter anymore. And I just have this like almost like a weight off of my chest. Like I feel like if I weighed myself, I weigh like 30 pounds less. Like, I mean, that's probably not true, but energetically it's true. And it was really scary to every ceremony before. I was like, why am I here? This is crazy. I need to go home. Like, this is absolutely insane. And so terrified. But then after I got through it, it was like, okay, this makes sense. And even though there were really scary parts and it was super hard, there were also really beautiful parts that I just feel like new, but the same, but just like a bigger appreciation for everything in my life, and just so grateful. I think that when I drank previously, I drank with my boyfriend and a female shaman and her partner, a woman as well, which was really great. And I think because of those women, it gave me trust to want to come here, because they were really strongly advising that this would be good, doing women only, which is completely different than what I would ever say to do. Not that I needed my boyfriend to be with me, but I just, in my mind, I felt like I need guys and girls. Like, that's just weird. I'm not the kind of girl that just like hangs out with a bunch of girls all the time, and especially for 11 days. But in being here, I really saw my resistance to that and why, and really had this new appreciation for women and for myself as a woman and for all the women in my family. And I just felt, and this is just my own opinion, I think, but I just think that women are so important. I mean, not that men aren't, but I mean, obviously we are the ones who give birth for a reason, and I really got the power and the beauty in that, and how we're so hard on ourselves. Even women that when I met at first, I was like, oh, I don't know why she's here. Like, she seems like everything's great. And, you just realize how hard women are on themselves, and in being with a bunch of women and who are all powerful and strong in their own way, it made me realize how hard we are on each other, the same way we're hard on ourselves, and super judgmental and super competitive and catty and mean, and just, I don't think it's intentional. I think it's just like a fear-based sort of, or learned behavior. I don't even know. But I watched, different personalities collide in the week, and it was really funny because it was all perfect in the end. Like, it all made exact sense. Like, everyone was sort of playing the role for the other person that they needed to play, and in the end, everyone just had nothing but this like enormous love for each other, like real, like it's your family. And the things that came through about birth and women and generations, and I think that women get blamed. Moms get like credit for anything that the kids do, that it's great, and then they get blamed if anything the kid does is not great. And I didn't really ever realize how much that was. I mean, I had my own experience with my mom, of course, but I think seeing all these women having the same story and realizing, like, wow, we could all love each other a lot more. It's really special. And as a woman, I think that we're a lot more fearful than most men. And being around a bunch of other women who are all being courageous and who you see yourself in, and then you also don't even understand how they could possibly be suffering the way they are because they appear so put together on the outside. I don't know. I did a lot of research, and I've talked to a lot of people, and I have a lot of friends who have gone to the jungle and done all kinds of things, and they've had, good results, but most all of them are still really searching. Especially women I know. They went and did what they did, and they got a lot out of it, but they didn't go deep. And the majority of the girls here, except for 2, women, I should say, I guess. I think everyone's like a girl now. Everyone just seems so much younger than they were when they started. But everyone but two women were, they had already been in ceremonies and drank in different places and gone to a lot of the places that I think are very, come up on Google if you look up places, and maybe have like great press or whatever. And they all said the same thing in different times of how this was just like profoundly deeper. And I mean, one of the girls sat like 80 times, and she said that this week was, and I only had the experience that I had, so I don't really have much to compare it to, but just being around at least 8 women who all said, wow. I mean, even just after the first night, they were just shocked. And that just says so much. And I mean, I know that's partially because of the space that you create and hold and the shaman that you found. And, but I think that it's a scary thing to sign up for because you don't know what you don't know. But when you actually do it, you feel so much stronger than I think you've ever felt in your life. And being around other women who have the same thing, whether they've never drank or they've drank 100 times, just knowing that you're getting this experience that it seems as unique and rare. It doesn't sound like there's a lot of people that can really create that. And I think, the medicine does what it does with you, and it matters how you handle it and what you do and things you tell yourself. But more than anything, I think it matters who's facilitating it, like that space. It's like going over to your friend's house, you like love to be at your friend's house and you feel at home, as opposed to like going to some scary place that's sterile and you don't know anyone. It's a completely different feeling. And I think that that's how everyone felt here. Yeah, and I think also it's important to know that whatever you believe, like spiritually or religiously or culturally, it really doesn't matter. Like it all works somehow. And I think that that's really because of the space that you create, how you are and how the people here are. There's a room full of people from all over the world, different countries, different states in the US. And in the end, everyone just was so left with the same feeling, just in a different way.